Welcome, Stachers, to another episode of Stache Sports. Last night, Paul Skeens had a great game for his first start ever pitching for the United States in the World Baseball Classic. He had only pitched 4 innings, but that's okay, because that's most of the pitchers are pitching now, because they have him on a limited pitch count, so they don't try to pitch too much, so they don't get their arms all worn out before the regular season starts of baseball. But he had 4 innings pitched, and he'll give 1 run and 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. That's pretty good against Mexico, but it was a team against Mexico, but it was one of the top teams in the pool play. But Paul Skeens looked really good. I can't wait to see what he keeps doing for the World Baseball Classic, for the World Baseball Classic and other stuff. But that's nice to see Paul Skeens is finally moving around and doing stuff. I can't wait to see what Paul Skeens does again for the World Baseball Classic. I mean, Paul Skeens is one of the better pitchers for the Pirates, and one of the better pitchers in the United States. It's also nice to see his old friends from Air Force, where he pitched before transferring to LSU, because he knew he had a better career in pitching and wanted to pursue his current pitching. But it's nice to see it was nice to see the guys from Air Force come over and support him. And it was nice to see him strike out. Also, there was a couple great defensive plays last night by a really great defensive play on the knees by one of the players on the Team USA to get out of Mexico. But after the United States, Mexico almost came back, and we only won 5-3. After Paul Skeens led out, the pitcher after that led a couple runs to Mexico. But it was good. It was the first time the United States had beaten Mexico in the World Baseball Classic in over 20 years. So that's nice that they beat them. The USA plays Italy later tonight at 9 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. So I'll be watching that game. But last night they looked pretty good. 5 runs. Let's hope they can keep doing that. I know it's a lot closer now, and now they're going to be playing a lot better teams and not playing like Brazil and Great Britain, where they beat them up a lot. So now it's going to be a lot closer. But 5-3 was close. But Mexico almost came back. Mexico almost came back in the last frame, but the United States held them off. So that's nice to see the United States do good. And let's hope they can keep doing good. But that's nice to see Paul Skeens do good too. 4 innings pitched with 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 1 hit. It's not bad. He still had fast stuff too. I still can't wait to see what he does if he pitches again for the World Baseball Classic. But that's not bad showing right now. That's not a bad showing right now. That is not a bad showing. But look, that's not bad. But we'll see what happens. It was nice to see them finally beat Mexico, since, like I said, they haven't beat Mexico in 20 years. And the great defensive plays they had last night. That was a great game to watch last night. Close game too. 5-3, 6 hits and 1 error for the United States. And they had 7 hits. Most of the hits, and 6 of the hits came after Paul Skeens was up, because Paul Skeens only gave 1 hit. I'm sorry for keeping repeating myself, but people like my friend Robbie don't know how to get the facts straight. But yeah, 5-3, that's nice. Pitching. Judge home run in the 3rd inning to make it 2-0. That was good. And Anthony home run to right. First, they're pretty big bombs. It seemed nice to see bombs by Anthony and Judge. Duran home run left to make it 5-1. And that's all the United States got in the 6th inning. I wish I would have got more. Excuse me. Anthony home run to make it 5-0. And then in the 6th inning is when Team Mexico woke up and got all 3 of their runs. And one of the 8th inning. But it's a close game, 5-3. It got really close at the end there. But the United States got 3 outs to move on. They'll play Italy today. I'm pretty sure no matter what happens today, the United States move on to the next round. But if they could beat Italy today, they would have a higher seed and be a better team overall going into the next round of the World Baseball Classic. But it's nice to see Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens is also proud to be an American and be pitching for the Team America. But it's nice to see Paul Skeens pitch. I'm so glad that he's a Pirate for now. Let's hope he's a Pirate for a really long time. I think they take down Team Italy tonight. It's going to be a rough game because Team Italy is also pretty good. But that's at 9 o'clock tonight on Fox Sports. Italy's 2-0 and the United States are 3-0. But we'll see. I mean, that might be a good game too. Now they're starting to play, like I said, they're starting to play a better competition. I mean, no offense to Brazil and these other countries, but let's face it, some of these countries don't have the superstars, and they just have the players that they play baseball in the countries. I mean, they're good players too, and some of them are making names for themselves and try to do stuff, so I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying, now the competition's getting better. I mean, it's nice to see the United States finally win for the first time in 20 years. That was a good baseball game last night from start to finish. It's nice to see Paul Skeens do good and have 4 innings pitched. I mean, they probably would have brought him out for more, but he has time limited, and they don't want to use his arm, which is good, because I don't want him to get hurt either. But we'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. I think Aaron Judge might have a home run tonight. I think Anthony might have a home run, and maybe other people might. I think the United States comes off to a good start tonight. It's going to be interesting to see how good their pitcher does, and see how good he can do for 4 innings, or how many innings he pitches, and to see what the bullpen does. Hopefully, the bullpen doesn't light up runs like they did last night, and they can keep a good team going around them. But we'll see what happens with the United States tonight. And the World Baseball Classic is really good right now. I know some people are upset about the World Baseball Classic. They don't want their superstar. They don't want their superstar playing, and sometimes they might get hurt before spring training. But I think it's good. I think it gives these players more an opportunity, like Paul Skeens, to get more warmed up from trying to play in his preseason spring training game. But we'll see. The Pittsburgh Penguins play tonight, and they will still not be out. They'll still be about Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby when they play Carolina. And track record shows that they do not do when they go to Carolina for the past recent years. But I think after having that big win and that chip on their shoulder, I think they carry that momentum into tonight and win. I think maybe Brian Rose has his goal, or Erik Karlsson. I can't believe how good Erik Karlsson is doing this year. Erik Karlsson is having one of his better years for the Pittsburgh Penguins of the date since that trade. I was not a big fan of the last couple of years of Erik Karlsson, but he has really turned around my mind this year, and is really looking good for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So we'll see what Erik Karlsson can do. Maybe Brian Russ's score. Ben Kendall's looking pretty good too. He's young, and it looks like we might get Brazeau back. Jason Brazeau is looking really good. He was injured in the Boston Bruins win, but he might be back tonight, which is good. Much needed help. But let's see, the Penguins might be able to come back. The Penguins need to start off with a good lead tonight, but I don't know if they can do back-to-back games of coming back with a big deficit like they did against the Boston Bruins, but we'll see. I mean, it's still number 2, but Carolina's number 1, so it'll be nice to be able to beat Carolina and start this really rough road trip off with a good win. I mean, we'll get Malcolm back sometime during this road trip because it's 5 games, because he's on game 3 of his 5-game suspension now after Buffalo, because he missed Philadelphia, he missed Boston, and he'll miss this one tonight. And then he knows how good Crosby's back. I know Crosby's been practicing, but like I said in yesterday's video, Crosby had no practicing and no contact jersey, which means he can't contact, which means players can't go beat him up, and he's not really practicing and trying to take shots to the body or whatever right now. But we'll see what happens to that. But I think the Penguins win tonight. It's going to be a good game in Carolina, but we have a rough road trip now. Let's hope they can continue to winning ways and don't lose points, because right now is when they need much needed 2 points. I know earlier on in the year when they blew up all those leads, that might come back to bite us, but let's hope they can keep winning. I mean, Dan Means is really doing a good job. Who would have thought that they would have came back from a 3-0 deficit on Friday or Sunday to beat the Boston Bruins, when the Boston Bruins have won all games so far this year against the Penguins and look like they can control them. But they at least didn't get swept by Boston in a serious season and came back and won in overtime and got much needed 2 points after losing in shootouts. But like I said, the Penguins need to do better in shootouts. They don't need to keep messing around in shootouts. I mean, I know in the playoffs it doesn't matter, but they still need to do better in regulation playoff too, even when they get to overtime. They need to do better in overtime. But we'll see. I mean, that's one thing about DMU. That's one thing about DMU's house. That's a kryptonite right now. It's the shootouts. Hopefully, he can fix that and we can get back on the winning ways. But there's been a lot of games this year that pissed me off that were close. But the Penguins had a big lead in the third period and blew it and lost. Those games are much. If we would have won those games, we would be in a lot better space right now after getting Malkin being dumb and getting suspended earlier on in the season. But we'll see what happens. I think they hold off and win tonight. I think the Boston Bruins beat the Los Angeles Kings. I think they bounced back after a tough loss to the Penguins. And the Kings aren't that good this year, so I think they can beat the Kings. I think the Penguins beat the Hurricanes. I think the Golden Knights beat the Stars, but that might be tougher. The Dallas Stars are both good this year, and so are the Vegas Golden Knights, but I think the Dallas Stars lose tonight. I think the Wild beat the Utah Mammoth. I think the Buffalo Sabres beat the Sharks. I can't believe what the turnaround the Buffalo Sabres had. The Buffalo Sabres were one of the worst teams before Christmas break or earlier on in the season, but they fired one of their coaches, and they've really turned around. Their goaltending is playing really well right now. I can't believe it. They won 8-7 last night versus the other night versus Tampa. That's like a football score. That's a really high-scoring hockey game. But Buffalo Sabres are good. They're looking to break a curse. They haven't been in the playoffs like 15 years now. They could be in the playoffs for the first time in 15 years before we get a good new Grand Theft Auto game. So that's quite impressive. But I can't wait to see what they do. I can't wait to see what the Buffalo Sabres do. But the Buffalo Sabres are one of the hot teams right now. They lead the division. Who would have guessed that at the beginning of the season that the Buffalo Sabres should be leading the division? They're playing really hot right now at the right time and really turning around the season. After firing the general manager and getting somebody, or firing out one of their coaches and getting somebody new, I think that really turned them around. Because at the beginning, like I said, they were dead in the basement like they always are. But now they clawed their way back to the top. But the Toronto Maple Leafs, they're not doing good either. Maybe the Montreal Canadiens win. That's a tough one. I mean, both of them are good, but I don't know. I think the Maple Leafs win. I think the Lightning beat the Blue Jackets, but the Blue Jackets are tough. I think the Red Wings and Panthers, that's going to be a tough game. The Panthers, I think, are still fighting for a playoff spot, and the Red Wings are hit or miss, but I think the Panthers win tonight. I think the Rangers beat the Flames. I think the Blues beat the Islanders. I think the Jets beat the Ducks. I think the Avalanche, who are the best team in hockey right now, they're looking like they're unstoppable. I think they beat the Oilers tonight, and I think the Predators beat the Kraken. But we'll see. I hope the Penguins win. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. If you watched yesterday's episode, you would know that yesterday I was upset that the Steelers got rid of Kenneth Gainwell, which I was, because he was our team MVP and he had over 1,000 yards as a running back number 2, which is really good to complement Jaylen Warren, and also was our top receiver, which hopefully this year we don't need a running back to be our top receiver because we got Michael Pittman Jr., and hopefully we draft another receiver in the draft this year. But late last night, the Steelers got Rico Dabo. For those of you who don't know, Rico Dabo used to play for the Dallas Cowboys when big coach Mike McCarthy was coaching the Dallas Cowboys. And he has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. So I think this is a good replacement. They got it for less money, for $12 million for 2 years. So that's $2 million less than Kenneth Gainwell got for the Buccaneers. I mean, Kenneth Gainwell would be good for the Buccaneers in my opinion. But I like Rico Dabo. He's a really fast back. I think he complements quite well with Jaylen Warren in that backfield. I mean, I know it sucks to be Caleb Johnson because now Caleb Johnson might be looking at a third-round bust. Who knows? Or he might still be able to develop. But who knows what's going to happen to Caleb Johnson? I mean, we drafted Caleb Johnson from the University of Iowa last year in the third round. And we didn't expect Kenneth Gainwell to be our team MVP last year. And he's the first team MVP to leave and go somewhere else than O'Donnell did it way back when. But we'll see. I think getting Rico Dabo will be a decent replacement, a solid replacement, but we'll see. Like I said, he's back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Also today, I saw that we re-signed Cameron Johnson, a punter. So far, there's really no news besides that today. That we re-signed Cameron Johnson, the punter. We're still trying to wait on the quarterback to see if it's Aaron Rodgers or somebody else. There's ever been reports that Aaron Rodgers will come back. Maybe it's Kirk Cousins. I wouldn't mind Kirk Cousins to maybe be a bridge and see if Will Howard has a shot, or maybe just go with Will Howard. I mean, no matter who the quarterback is, you're going to have to get receivers, and that's what the Steelers are doing right now. They're getting receivers. I think that's good for the Steelers. They need to get receivers, and they need to keep getting them. I mean, I know we have Darnell Washington and Pat Ferrari moved, and now we have DK Metcalf and Pittman, but I still think we need somebody else. Unless they really think Mike McCarthy can turn around and make Roman Wilson an actual decent receiver, I still think they need somebody else. I mean, I know they got Ben Skoranek, but Ben Skoranek is more of a special teams player. But we'll see. I can't believe they got James Dean yesterday too. Dean is one of the better players, better cornerbacks last year. He was one of the highest grade cornerbacks. He led up one of the lowest yards per catch and only led a couple touchdowns. So that's good. And Joey Porter Jr., with all the crap I gave him last year, both flags he gave him, he was one of the highest grade people on PFF too. So now we have two of the top good cornerbacks no matter what Robbie says. And no, Robbie says he's 28. It's going to be 30. I'm 30 years old. So he has a couple more good years left. That's a really good sign by the Steelers. He's not old, Robert. But we'll see. I think that's a really good signing by the Steelers. But we'll see. Also, the Raiders have been making a lot of moves. They got Tyler Linderbaum, the Ravens center, and a lot of other players. But we'll see. I think the Steelers are making good moves. We'll see what else they do. Free agency doesn't open yet still until Wednesday, but we'll see what they do. It's going to be interesting to see who they get as the quarterback. Today, the Patriots made some moves, and my friend Jake might be happy. They got Elijah Tucker, an offensive guard that used to play for the Jets, and they also signed Romeo Doubs to a 4-year, $70 million contract. Romeo Doubs is a Packers receiver. I mean, he might be pretty good there, paired with Drake May, because Drake May lost Stephon Diggs, so that might be a good reading in there with Drake May, but we'll see. Romeo Doubs was one of the decent receivers to the Packers for $70 million. That's a lot of money, but I mean, for a decent receiver, so we'll see how good he does there with the Packers. I mean, he is the king of the guardian cap, but one of the problems he has is he deals with a lot of injuries. So if he can stay healthy, I think that's going to be good for the Patriots. So I think that gives him a number good receiver, and they also have other decent receivers behind him. But we'll see what happens. And also, the offensive guard helps the Patriots too. J.K. Dobbins re-signed with the Broncos. People thought he was going to go somewhere else, but he's going to stay with Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers. Earlier today, Geno Smith got traded back to the Jets. It's money. Yes, I know Geno Smith played for the Seahawks and played for the Raiders recently, but he was drafted by the Jets where he didn't turn out so well. But he's going back to the Jets for a 6th-round pick and the 7th round, and they're getting a 7th-round pick with him also. But the Raiders are getting a 6th-round pick. So at least the Raiders got rid of him before having to release him, because we all know that Fernando Mendoza is going to be the quarterback there in Miami, or excuse me. He's going to be the quarterback there in Oakland. Also, the Cardinals signed Ty Algier, one of the explosive running backs for the Atlanta Falcons. That's going to pair well with James Conner. I think that's a good hire too. And Gardner Minshew, he's a backup. It looks like they might be trying to roll to Jacoby Brissett as a quarterback next year, and they might be looking for a better quarterback. A free agent, Austin Gilman, reaches a deal for Chiefs. That's another defensive player they got, which is helping the Chiefs' defense. The Chiefs' defense was pretty bad last year, and they need help on that. That's why they have a pick number 9 this year, but they also didn't have an NFL superstar last year. But we'll see what the Steelers do. I wonder what else they're going to do. It's going to be interesting to see who the quarterback is. I mean, I don't know if I really wanted Malik Willis. He'd only had a couple games under his belt. I think I'd rather try to put less money on Kyler Murray and see if Kyler Murray can do anything if we don't do Aaron Rodgers this year, but we'll see. I still think Aaron Rodgers is coming back, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I wish he would just make up his mind already, to be quite honest, and not have this waiting game. But I think the Raiders and the Giants are making a lot of moves too. We got Isaiah Likely. Isaiah Likely was a troublemaker for the Steelers last year. He's going to be pretty good for the Giants. And they got a punter for the Ravens, and they got other players. I think the Giants are making moves. It's going to be interesting to see what else the New York Giants can do. But I think the Raiders, and the Steelers might have been the biggest winners yesterday. I mean, or the Carolina Panthers didn't do bad either, and the Tennessee Titans didn't do bad. But I think I know I'm biased about the Steelers, but I think the Raiders might have done good too. because getting rid of Max Crosby, even though he's one of the superstars, got him a lot more money cap, and they had a lot of money cap to begin with. So they started building more players around a superstar, a young quarterback. That's good. They got him a good center, Tyler Linderbaum. And they got other good players too. If you need to look more, you can look more at that too. But we'll see. I think the Steelers are gonna. We'll see what else the Steelers do. I want to hope they can get a quarterback soon. Take him all his rest and not have to always hear who the quarterback's gonna be. Maybe it's Will Howard. I mean, no matter who the quarterback is, I still think they need to draft a receiver, sign another receiver. So I don't think Roman Wilson's that answer. But now we also lost. We also lost an offensive tackle yesterday, Isaac Salamalu. We also lost an offensive tackle yesterday, Isaac Salamalu. Isaac Salamalu was okay. He was getting older and getting injury prone, but the Steelers still need to fix that offensive line because the whole left side of the offensive line is in shambles right now. Because Broderick Jones, who knows when he can come back from his neck injury he suffered last year, and how he's going to be this year. I mean, Dylan Cook did look okay in his absence. I mean, but we'll see. I still think they need to either draft an offensive tackle or sign somebody. I mean, there's other free agents open still, but they can sign for offensive tackle if they haven't signed anyone as of this video airing. But I think they need to get an offensive tackle now, but they lost Isaac Salamalu to help the offense, no matter who the quarterback is, because you're going to need a good left side of that offense, and that left side is weak right. And that left side of the offense is weak right now, in my personal opinion. So I think they need to get stronger at that position. And either sign somebody or trade or draft somebody, but we'll see. But we'll see. Kobe Bryant signed with the Bears. That's a good hire for the Bears. Devin Bush is going to the Bears. I remember Devin Bush for the Steelers. He was okay for the Steelers, but never really panned out here. But he's getting his money now for the Bears. I mean, he was okay at the Browns last year, but we'll see what he does with the Bears. Khalif Raymond is going to the Bears too, but as another receiver. Khalif Raymond was one of those little no-name receivers for the Detroit Lions last year, so that's good for the Chicago Bears. We'll see. And their left tackle's going back. But today so far really hasn't been much news like yesterday. Yesterday was a really big day with Pittman, Dean, other people like Kenneth Walker going to the Chiefs. And the Raiders making all the moves the Raiders did. I mean, the Raiders had one of the better days yesterday, getting Tyler Linderbaum and getting other players. But today has been really quiet, in my opinion. Yesterday was more loud on the free agent opening. I mean, I know we got Romeo Doubs and they got Geno Smith and new teams, but other than that, it's really been quiet. And punters, the Dolphins signed a kicker, Zane Gonzalez, because they lost Sanders, but that's all. But that's all we've done so far. The Raiders got Tyler Linderbaum. Jalen Naylor, that's a pretty good receiver for the Eagles, who we played for last year. Naylor was probably one of the better receivers, was a decent receiver. He'll be a key player in the Raiders offense. That gets another receiver for whoever quarterback is, so that's good. That gets another receiver for Mendoza to throw to. They kept Eric Stokes, the cornerback. They traded Geno Smith and got a 6th-round pick. And they retained one of their defensive players, so that's good. But getting Eric Linderbaum and Tyler Linderbaum and other players, that's good. But there's decent moves. Tonight, the Boston Celtics are back in action as they play the Victor Yamba and the San Antonio Spurs. I think the Boston Celtics win tonight. I think Jaylen Brown and Derek White and Jason Tatum have a big night. I saw Peyton Pritchard won't be sitting out tonight, so that's going to be a tough loss for a bench. But hopefully another bench player can come off tonight and make a big impact for Boston against the Spurs. Against the Spurs. But let's hope that can happen. I really hope that they look better tonight. I mean, look pretty good, but the Spurs are going to be tough. It's not ESPN today or NBC, but we'll see. I mean, they are one of the better teams away, and they're playing in San Antonio. But Victor Yamba might be a problem but I think Boston overcomes it, and I think Boston Celtics win tonight. I think the Sixers beat the Grizzlies. I think the Pistons showed one of the better teams beat the Brooklyn Nets. I can't believe how good the Pistons are doing this year either. The Pistons are one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. Can't believe that. The Miami Heat, I think they beat the Wizards. I mean, they're hit or miss this year. We're number 7, but I don't know how far of a deep playoff run the Miami Heat can go on if they even make it to the playoffs or make it to the play-in tournament. But we'll see. I think the Heat win tonight. I think the Hawks beat the Mavericks. I think the Raptors beat the Rockets. I think the Suns beat the Bucks. I think the Warriors beat the Bulls. I think the Trailblazers beat the Hornets. I think the Pacers beat the Kings. And the Lakers beat the Timberwolves. But we'll see. Earlier today, I was watching Pitt basketball. That was a wild finish. But Pitt won. And they will move on to play NC State tomorrow. Pitt's men's basketball team is not one of the homes to write about, but at least they won one game in the conference tournament when they had to win against the last home game of the regular season to even make it to the tournament to be the last seed. But they upset Stanford today, the number 10 seed, so that's good. But they upset Stanford in a close game. It was a wild finish. They missed the basket, and then Pitt almost missed getting the ball back. But luckily they got it back. I mean, they had to run for it. They almost gave it up and caught it up to Stanford, and Stanford almost won it. But luckily Pitt got an offensive rebound in the paint and was able to put it up. And then there was a whole other thing after that with the time clock, but luckily the time ran out, so Pitt won after that. So Pitt will play NC State tomorrow at noon. I don't know if they're going to win. Today was a tough game, but at least they won one game. So that's good since, like I said, they're the last team in. But I can't wait. March Madness is right around the corner. Right now we have all the tournament plays. Gonzaga, I think, beats St. Clair tonight. But that's going to be a tough game. Pitt beat Stanford 64-63, 1-point game. And SMU, I think they're going to beat Stanford. Wake Forest plays Virginia Tech tonight. And those are all the ACC games today. ECF has a day off in the Big 12. But they have other teams playing right now. ECF doesn't play until tomorrow. I think so. But I think BYU beats Kansas State. I think Oklahoma State beats Colorado. And Arizona State beat BYU. And Cincinnati, I think Cincinnati beat Utah. But we'll see. I want to see what other teams are. But a lot of the talk right now in the college basketball world is about Miami of Ohio. If Miami of Ohio loses one of the games in their conference championship, do you think they should be in? I think they should be in. I mean, I know they lost only one game as a conference championship game, but there's other teams like Auburn, and the dad of Auburn's coach is bitching about Auburn should be in. There's complaining about Auburn should be in. But we'll see. We'll see. But I do think that Miami of Ohio should be in even if they lose one game. Who knows? It could be a Cinderella team, a 64 team, and maybe make some noise. Or maybe they'll get smacked in the first round like some of these teams do, but come in hot after not winning. I know people have the strength of schedule, and Miami of Ohio doesn't really have a strength of schedule compared to like Auburn or somebody else from the SEC or one of these other conferences. But we'll see. But that's been a lot of questions around the college basketball world right now. That's been the biggest basketball question right now. Is if Miami of Ohio is able to, if Miami of Ohio loses one game, should they be in? I think they should be, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting. That's the hard part to see who gets in. But we'll see. Pitt needs to win the ACC tournament to get in. UCF might not need to win their conference tournament to get in, but might need to win a couple games to help the bubble. But we'll see. I don't know. Florida State probably needs someone out too to get in. But we'll see. It's an interesting time of year. Right now it's the March Madness basketball tournament, and March Madness will start next week. If you guys want to do a March Madness tournament bracket, please let me know below. Maybe we can try to set up a Stache Sports March Madness bracket tournament with ESPN and see who wins. I don't know if we have a prize or whatever, but we can see who wins in the Stache Sports bracket challenge if you guys are interested in it. If not, I'll still do one, and I can show you how I do mine on this podcast and make it more interesting. I also will look into doing a shorts later on to make it less long a podcast or looking at other stuff like that. But thank you for watching my shows and watching my podcast. And thank you for leaving comments. If you have any comments how I can improve or whatever I can do better. And I know I need it. I just remember that one of my commenters talked about shorts yesterday. So I need to look into doing shorts too to try to get more viewers to my videos and never engage in. But we'll see. But thank you for watching my videos. This is Stache Sports signing off. Tomorrow we'll talk more about free agency and see whatever moves we have. But right now, the Pirates Steelers haven't really done nothing today besides signing that punter. But I think yesterday's moves made them a lot better. I think they got a 2 good cornerback now. I think they finally got a good receiver too to pair with DK Metcalf. And that's the thing we've been missing. It's a good receiver too. Somebody better than Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin only had like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns last year and 5'9". Calvin Austin's 2 inches taller than me because I'm 5'7". So now we have 2 6'4" receivers that can go up and get the ball and have speed and be able to block. So I think it's going to be good. I'm going to miss Kenneth Gainwell, like I said, plenty of times. But I think Rico Dabo is a good alternative answer. But again, like I said, if you have any comments, please leave them down below. And thank you for watching my videos.